Yeah.
To begin with, we just heard from a legendary entrepreneur talking about one of the most iconic brands in the country. And when we talk about Motorola, the Hello Moto tone, it's yet another, legendary tune that, rings in our ears. I want to ask you a bit about yourself. How did you land up in Motorola?
Yeah. No, I think it's a great beginning that you mentioned the ringtone, the Hello Moto. So before I talk about my journey, maybe I'll just give a glimpse of the brand itself, right? I mean, we spoke about an iconic brand from India, which is Airtel. But I think Motorola has been one of the most iconic brands. In fact, a lot of people might not know, but the famous words in 1969 when we landed on the moon, right? The words, one small step for man and a giant leap for mankind, that came through to the earth from the moon on a Motorola transponder.
Oh, really?
So Motorola was there on the moon in 1969.
Okay.
So a brand that has had a legacy of now over 96 years, it's a 96-year-old brand, has been at the forefront of technology since then. And in fact, that was not the only thing. In 1973, right, the world's first mobile phone call was made. And that was made on a Motorola phone. So the world's first mobile phone actually was created by Motorola.
Wow. Okay.
So this industry that we are in today, we are the pioneers of this industry. And I think it's a great honor for me to now be heading this brand at a global stage. A company that has seen over 96 years of innovation and has been at the forefront of technology across the board at multiple key moments of human innovation, right? But yes, I mean, my first touch point with Motorola was the Razr, right?
Okay.
As a person, right? I owned the Razr. I don't know, some of you might have owned the Razr, the iconic,
the first
super
flip
slim,
phone,
the flip phone, the keyboard phone, right? Back in, during my college days, I owned one. And it was an experience. I loved the experience. I loved the association with the brand, and that memory stayed with me. Mm-hmm. So when I got the opportunity back in 2019 to join Motorola, at that stage in India, actually, Motorola was not at the forefront. It was trying to come back to India and gain share. It was a small organization. In fact, I was working with Airtel at that time. So
okay, wow.
I forgot to mention, but before that, I was with Airtel. I was heading marketing for their fintech division. That's the time when I joined Motorola to head marketing for them in 2019. Then a few years down the road, we changed the course of Motorola's journey in India and globally. Mm-hmm. We started seeing rapid growth. And that is when I took over the entire Asia-Pacific role. Where we again started seeing penetration across geos like Japan, Australia, which is where now again we are a number 3 brand. Right. And India, we've come from a journey where, say about 4 years back, we were at less than 2% share, market share player. Today we are 8% and growing, and about to break into the top 3 brands in the country. So from there to now, heading the brand globally.
Motorola has been among the trendsetters, so to say. They were the first ones to introduce the Moto Razr, which was an iconic phone. Talking about making in India, because that's the buzzword right now, how is it for a global company like Motorola to manufacture from India? I mean, could you just tell us what exactly and how exactly is it that Motorola manufactures from India?
No, I think it's a great question, but right now I am very proud to say that almost 100% of what we sell in India is actually made in India. 100%, okay. Right? And thank you. So that is definitely happening, and it's not just that, right? We are not just making in India to sell in India, we're actually exporting to multiple countries as well from India. Okay. And that's thanks to the incentives, the policies that the government has given to promote manufacturing in India. I think PLI has been a very important factor in helping us grow our manufacturing capabilities. Also, the growth of indigenous manufacturers, contract manufacturers like Dixon, right, who've come up in India, set up shop, and really scaled up their skill sets and innovation capabilities so that we can partner with them and do local manufacturing in India. So it is, I think, very, very important for us as a global brand to continue to find different opportunities of creating manufacturing hubs. We don't want to be restricted in one particular country, one particular geo, because there are always geopolitical issues that might prop up and hence restrict your ability to export, to import, or to move around, right? So which is why we are actually a truly global organization that believes in creating multiple manufacturing hubs across the world. And India is one very prominent one of them.
But as a manufacturer who's then located out of different countries, what is so unique about manufacturing from India? What are the differences? What are the challenges or the advantages that India offers as a manufacturing hub?
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, from a manufacturing perspective, there are these policies, the government policies, the regulations which have encouraged manufacturing. There are the whole aspect of having this large base of young talent, right, at an employable age, right? I think that again gives us the opportunity to have this set of people who are able to learn, who are able to upskill, and who are able to deliver in terms of delivering best-in-class manufacturing capabilities, and also the tech-first mindset, the innovative mindset that the Indians have. I think all these are positives, but I think the contribution or the role of India is beyond just manufacturing, right? I think what we have seen is that the role of India to the brand globally is beyond manufacturing. It's actually across multiple sectors like product development, portfolio management, marketing, brand. Because if you look at the importance of India now in the overall scheme of the smartphone industry, India today is the second largest global smartphone market, right? 150 million smartphones, more than 150 million smartphones sold every year, shipments in India, right? And a base of over 700 million people. So it's a second largest market, one of the largest bases. It is absolutely critical for any global smartphone brand to be successful in India because it requires scale for us as a brand globally, right? To be successful globally, you need scale. And if you're not successful in India, you're missing a huge lot of scale.
But then here, this is where I want to bring you to one aspect where, we remember as kids, in fact, Motorola was the phone that we all aspired to have. And then there was a phase wherein we, experienced the Apples coming in, and Nokia, for example, was there. Has there been a loss of market share in between? And how have you, overcome that challenging phase through your existence in India?
No, I think, great question. And absolutely yes, right? I mean, for a lot of years, right, back in the day when we invented the mobile phone, and a lot of years after that, for many decades, in fact, after that, Motorola was the world's leading smartphone brand. Our share was #1 across all markets globally. And, we were synonymous with the phone, right? At one point of time, it's buy a Motorola, like you say Colgate, right? So that was what we had. But then, yes, over a period of time, we faced challenges with competition coming in. We faced, newer technologies coming in, etc. There was a change in management also. We had to, we were acquired by Google first, and then later on by Lenovo. So change of ownership happened. But I think, there were gaps in which we lost market share. But I think the reason why we have now been able to come back is the fact that we've been committed to innovation. I think that has been at the core. Even though we faced a lot of challenges, the whole strategy and the reason why we are back today. In fact, this is an industry, by the way, this industry, the smartphone industry, is not a very forgiving industry. We all remember many iconic brands that have disappeared, right?
Absolutely.
BlackBerry is one.
Like Nokia.
Nokia is one, HTC is one. So for a brand to come back in this industry, that's a rare phenomenon. But I would give a lot of credit to our global leadership. Mr. Sergio Buniac was our global president. Who's led this charge. But I think the core to our success was that we stuck to our roots. So we decided when we saw that our products were not competitive enough. I think the core was to listen to the consumers. When the consumers said your products are not competitive enough and we will not buy it, that was a moment when we decided to step back.
Okay.
So we decided to stop our marketing investments. We decided to reinvent our business models, right? We wanted to, reduce the costs, bring in efficiencies, optimize our supply chains. And, that was a time when we focused all our investments in R&D, right? Come up with products that are competitive, give more value to the consumers, and are able to compete in some of the most competitive markets.
So do you think now you've got the pulse of Indian consumer?
Yes.
What is it that the Indian consumer is now demanding? What is it that we will see in the years ahead now?
No, I think, the Indian consumer is actually very smart. In fact, if I had to give you an example, one of the, we actually feel that the smartest base of consumers actually globally, right, is in India.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, I think, the growth of online marketplaces, right, in India. Most of the other markets from a smartphone perspective are either carrier-led, which means operator-led markets, right, where operators sell your phone. So if you look at the US, you buy a phone from a carrier. It's either Verizon or some other carrier. You look at Japan, similar, right? And there are a lot of other markets where it's retail-driven, right? So mostly it's a push market. I mean, people know of a brand, they'll buy it. They don't need to necessarily know what specification is there, what leading piece of technology is there. They don't inquire so much. But here in India, because of an extremely competitive environment with over 25 smartphone brands existing in the market, and the rise of online e-commerce platforms, consumers have access to all the specifications.
Okay.
So they do the research. In fact, there are times when a consumer asks a question which most of us think will only be asked by a product guy, like, does this support 4K video recording? Does this chipset support 4 nanometer process? I mean, these are things you don't hear anywhere in the world, right? So the consumer here is very, very, picky, choosy. But I think that is what gives us the advantage. If we design for India, if we take these competitive challenges from India and design a product that is competitive in India, then that product is likely to be competitive globally. There's no chance that it will not be competitive globally.
As someone who's a sectoral expert, I want to understand from you. We've seen the kind of transformation that technology has undergone over the past about 10, 20 years. It's been very rapid. We saw, push button phones, then we saw smartphones, we saw wearable technology. I want to understand from you as a consumer and to someone who's an expert in the domain, where is this going? What are we going to see next in technology?
I mean, technology, like you said, right? I mean, I think it evolved. First of all, the first set of evolution that we saw was on hardware, right? I mean, hardware was the first to evolve, where you saw touch button moving to screens. You saw, cameras evolving to, now with a phone you can take DSLR level pictures. You don't need to carry a separate camera. I mean, literally video cameras have died out, right? I mean, so you see the first set of evolution has happened in terms of hardware. But I think now we've reached a stage in the industry where hardware is no longer the big differentiation, right? It could matter a little bit at a particular price point. You could have something more at a particular price point versus another. But things are now beyond hardware. The next set of innovation is where you will see it in terms of software differentiation, in terms of consumer experience that is being delivered on the phone. And that, I think, the biggest disruption will be AI, right? Because frankly, I mean, we are seeing AI penetrate every industry today, right? It is the forefront of all conversation. But I think one thing we should realize is, smartphones are actually the closest to us, in terms of our lives, right?
Right.
You are with your smartphone from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed.
Absolutely.
So that is one piece of device, that's one object or device that you carry with you wherever you go. So the access to AI and the use of AI and the role of AI on your smartphone will be the most significant piece of technological advancement that you will see in the near future.
And what is it that Motorola is working on? Do we see Motorola disrupting the market in the next about few years? Do you see replacing an Apple? The aspirations that have been associated with an Apple, in the Indian market, so to say?
No, absolutely. See, I think our journey, in the across markets has been quite significant, very positive. I mean, today we are the #3 brand in North America. We are the #2 brand in Latin America. And in APAC, we are growing in triple-digit shares, right? So there is something that we are doing right. Some of the key pillars of what we are doing right are, maybe I'd like to call them out, right? I think one of the things that we picked up and we focused on for the past 3-4 years, which has led to this growth for us, is focus on design, right? I think it was not something which was very obvious. When you surveyed a consumer also, they did not say design was the reason that they would buy a smartphone, because design did not exist as a differentiation in the smartphone category at that point of time. But we picked that up. We partnered with a global leader in color science called Pantone. Now, Pantone, if you, I don't know, Pantone defines colors, right? It literally gives Pantone codes. So people in the design field, et cetera, would know Pantone. So we partnered with Pantone, who's a global leader in color science, and asked them to suggest the top trends in colors to us. We started adopting those colors into our phones. So you will see that today the Motorola portfolio of smartphones has the most differentiated colors on the phones. And not just colors. We started innovating in terms of materials and finishes. So today you have Motorola phones which come with a wooden finish, which come with a marble finish at the back, which come with Alcantara. Alcantara, by the way, is a material that you see in ultimate luxury cars, right? That's super, super luxury. So we've got these kind of materials also now in our phones, and that is what has created a big wave of differentiation for us globally and in India, where consumers see why we are different and they like what we are doing, right? The other thing the other way in which we are differentiating is to give consumers more value, both in terms of hardware and software. So in terms of hardware, I would say, like I said, there's no innovation that's happening, but to get features, premium features at a more accessible price point, I think that creates the disruption. And in terms of software and AI, giving consumers some of the leading technologies in the world. Today we have been recognized in India as India's leading smartphone brand in AI, right? And the reason for that is that we are not just focusing on developing our own AI, which is Moto AI, but we are also partnering with all the top AI proponents in the industry. So we've got Google Gemini on our phones, we've got Microsoft Copilot on our phones, and we've got Perplexity AI also on our phones. So we are the only brand in the smartphone industry that doesn't say we come with one AI agent. We have our own AI, but we give consumers the choice of 3 more AI agents, which are the leading agents in the world. So we are offering consumers the best of what there exists.
Wonderful. Shivam, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you so much. Pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having me.